Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble while following us on Facebook, or find us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcasts can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for past episodes, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe or follow today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Oh, hello and welcome wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. This is Conscious Radio Network's The Seance Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, please click like, subscribe, comment, and also don't forget to follow or listen wherever you listen to your podcasts. Today's guest, a soul guide, a multidimensional channel, and galactic shaman devoted to helping others awaken their higher potential. She blends quantum, shamanic, and psychological tools to guide deep transformation and healing. She's the founder of Source Language Institute, and her new book, Mastering Quantum Creation, drops this June. By the time this airs, it would have dropped. So that's good, because the book it'll already be out. Sweet. Let's dive into the multidimensional with Diana Divine. Welcome. How are you?
It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so very welcome. I was looking at your website before we started the show and stuff like that. Awesome. That's a really cool website. And you don't only have a book coming out, but you also have Oracle card. You have an Oracle card deck as well, and a bunch of other stuff. so yeah. How did I ask everybody? It kind of gets redundant at the beginning of our shows, but how did this journey for you start? Did this start for you as a little kid? What were your interests growing up, and how did you get into this?
Yeah, well, I like to consider myself a multidimensional being in the way that I also, on Earth itself, have traveled many different places. Actually, I was born in Soviet Union. I grew up in Middle East, in Israel, and then I came here more later in my teenage years. So this journey, yeah, it's been an interesting one. I think I've always been an old soul. So even though when I was a kid, I wasn't fully aware that I was awake, I think I was always awake because I was perceiving others and observing and noticing and saying things that people were like, whoa, like, how old are you, girl? So I was always, and I always kind of acted more mature than my age. And even as I can think of Soviet Union back then, it's like traveling on the bus in the big city and exploring. I was always exploring, following my curiosity. But my big awakening really happened when I was 20. I went back to Israel. I was already here, and I actually had my first initiation in Israel, in a beautiful place where actually Jesus did a lot of miracles. I grew up in the north. And I actually lived next to Nazareth. So I was immersed in that environment through my teenage years. And it was just part of my being. But then coming back there, and my mom took me to this Kabbalah woman. And when I got my first Reiki initiation at Tiberias at the Galilee Sea, I felt energy. And I think when that can happen, when I started energy and being aware there's currents of energy that we can't see, but I can feel, that expanded so much in my awareness, and it just took off from there. I've been exploring so many different paths, from shamanism to energy work to psychology to quantum. And I think where I am today, it's like also becoming a channeler, merging everything together really has helped me because I have so many perspectives. It's very like spirituality can take people into so many different realms, literally. And I feel the most important part is to be here and embody all of that. Can we apply it to our life? How can we help others to apply it to our lives? How can we be the best versions of ourselves? So so this journey has been a mystical, beautiful experiences of various countries, and I think all of that, and travel. In my late 20s, early 30s, I've traveled the world 3 times, and I've lived in South America and Central America and Australia, like all kinds of places around the world. And that gave me a lot of perspective. And I think the more perspective you can hold, the more compassionate you become to the cultures, the people, the simplicity of life, especially in the jungles of Amazon. It was just so incredible to see how simple the kids are, or someone in Vietnam, like they don't have much, but yet they're so joyful and so excited about life. That simplicity, it was just something that, less is more, kind of really stayed with me. Like if we can unpeel all the noise and get to the core of who we really are, that is really what this journey is about.
Yeah. And like you said, being able to travel the world and be able to experience all these cultures, it does give us a look at all these cultures, and it makes us appreciate humanity a lot more, our fellow human being, seeing our fellow human being in so many different conditions, because we are all the same. When you go look at all these cultures and live within these cultures, I mean, I haven't been in as many places as you have. I mean, I lived in mainland China for about a year. Been to Cambodia, Angkor Wat, some of the ancient temples and stuff there. About to go somewhere else. I gotta say so. Mount Shasta, actually, which is really cool. And possibly South America, and Central. Yeah.
I have had very special activations. Actually, and we can talk about it. My light language came online at Mount Shasta, so that's a very special vortex. Yeah.
There you go.
we can talk about the magic of Mount Shasta and my experiences with the beings there. So we do have also, and I'm also about to go travel. There are specific places on Earth, and also we can say like the veil is thinner there, like Sedona, Arizona. I was just there facilitating a retreat, and some places actually call me because for the last decade I've been doing what's called earth grid work, where some of us have different roles here, and one of them is to activate the body of this planet, because she's also alive. She's a teenager. She's going through her puberty, so to speak. So some of us get called to do work with her and clear the land and clear some programs, that ancient programs have been sitting, not allowing for her to awaken. But we do see awakening happening, a lot of it like earthquakes. I'm about to go to Turkey, and yesterday there was an earthquake of 5.6, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like it's activating, and it's a good sign for me, because that means the energy is moving, because there needs to be a release. In shamanism, we say that's like, the job is done, because we actually purged, we transmuted the energy. And she's to, these earthquakes and all these more, things that we've seen with the weather. That's part of this process that's happening for her simultaneously with us. Like we kind of in this journey together as well. So that's important to remember. And why we've been called to these places too. Like, it's like, why Shasta? I'm curious to hear why you're going to Shasta.
Yeah. And here, I try not to talk about myself on the show, but since you brought it up, because it's part of the discussion. Is what's interesting is, before I had a guest on the show, and she's been on the show a couple times. Does a lot of shamanic work. And she does a pilgrimage there, a retreat there every year. And I'm like, I saw that she, when she booked the show, and I saw something coming up that she was going to Mount Shasta again. I'm like, oh my God. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, spirit comes in, zoom, And it was like, you're going to Mount Shasta.
Mm.
No
Mhm.
questions. No, don't even think about it. You're going. Book it. Go. The land is calling you. Go. Don't even debate it.
That's
Just
right.
go. So I did. I'm like, okay,
Exactly.
I'm not going to ask any questions. And then the next voice came in. The next thing came in. And it's like, now you're going to write your book. The 10 or 15 years you've been putting it off and taking notes and doing research, you're going to write it now. You're going to start it now before the trip. And then whatever happens between now and then, great. Well, guess what? I'm done with the book. I haven't even gone on the trip yet. So
I love
right? So it's like,
that's
what?
to me too.
It's
I
already
love it.
activated me. It's already activated me before I even
Yeah.
went.
I am actually launching my book on
Yeah.
June 17th, as I am also doing the work you planning to do, and doing activations in Turkey. So for me too, it's been a very guided process. The book has started a year ago, but it's been done. And the oracle deck you mentioned, actually, it's been fascinating process. In March, it was a very quick birth, where it was just like channeled to me before Sedona that you must do this deck. And within a month, I created this whole deck that also can kind of, these energies are like brewing. It's like a birthing process, and then gestating, and then when they're ready, they're birthing. And I think we are, especially this month of June, in this month of creation, and we in this infinite moving creation, we are birthing and like completing some things, or just gestating but ready to release. This is very, I feel, from just evolutionary process of humanity. This is a big month because anything leading to summer solstice, all the activations I've ever done, been very guided, and they've all been around summer solstice. There's a 6 week window that where I think it has to do with the tilt of the earth and all the astrological, the sun, the moon, and all the things where the veil is even thinner. And ancient civilizations have always knew that. That's why they celebrate summer solstice and winter solstice is in biggest reverence of the balance of the energies, also the darkness and the light. And so, so I too been very much guided like you. And this book is coming out, and it's exciting to also summarize my 25 years of experience as much as I can. And I feel like there's another book already brewing as well, and that book is going to be about relationships. My book, Mastering Quantum Creation, is really broken into 3 parts. It's about remembering, and then expanding, and then stepping into the mastery. And I feel we forgot. We know everything, really, and we have to remember that we are creators. We are constantly actually creating. People like to use the word manifestation. Manifestation, assuming it's like happening without you, or you need to attract that to yourself. But actually, I like the word creation better because, as they say in the Bible, God created this reality in one word. So we actually have those capacities. We are gods and goddesses walking on earth. And I think we need to own the conscious creation process. But in order to do that, we first need to kind of reclaim some pieces of ourselves. So the subtitle of this book is Awakening the Phoenix Within, Manifest Your Reality and Reclaim Your Cosmic Power. And so there's a lot to reclaim. And so it is already ours. It's just we, over the course of history, have forgotten our roots. And many of us who on this path now, we've been priests in ancient Egypt and Atlantis. We've done this in many incarnations, or in some ways or another. And now we're just re-remembering these ancient wisdoms that we always carried with us on the soul level. So I think the books are coming so quickly for all of us because it's time. It's time for us to speak our truth and awaken and activate and inspire others. And the reclamation is one piece. The Phoenix energy is something that I go by. The Phoenix is this also energy of resurrection. So the process of phoenixing as a verb, meaning we're all going through these constant deaths and rebirths right now, like on a daily basis. Sometimes like parts of ourselves literally dying off and peeling off. Sometimes it took us years to peel off things, but these old programs are shedding, and we step in and like we're burning through them, right? A new version of ourselves is coming out, and then a new one and a new one. And so this process of awakening the phoenix and really start reclaiming these pieces and shedding this old programs and really step into this new foundational earth frequency is what's happening on the planet right now. And it's very exciting. So I'm excited. You have your book coming. I have my book, and I feel all these books that are there to, you know, give another little piece to the puzzle of why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. And even though my first one's done, it's like, okay, now my journey is because I plan on documenting some stuff. So I don't know how big the group is going to be that's going. I was told to document it. So I'm going to be putting together a small documentary for those who want to be in it. Great. If not, fine. I'll put together a 20-30 minute documentary. But the Spirit's also telling me, Saint Germain especially, he's the one. Saint Germain is the one that's specifically. That's where all the chatter's coming from. That's where all the information's coming from, along with some of the other ascended masters. But they're like, okay, now you're done. That's good. But you're going to have another book when you get back, specifically on the experience. So I'm like, okay. So we shall see what happens.
Yeah, you're in for the treat. I've had incredible activations on Mount Shasta for sure. I was there during winter solstice, and yeah, my light language came fully online there. It's interesting that, like you was talking about, like before you even physically go to the location starts connecting with you. But also in Shasta, I call it the mothership. It's layers of energies, and especially like this other dimensional realm where these beings, Lemurian beings, reside. And so if you are in that frequency bandwidth and you're opening your heart, they will interact with you. So I've had those experiences where I interacted with these beings and they have activated me, and I would look around like it was, winter in Manchester is pretty cold, but yeah, like you would look around, snow everywhere, and then snow all of a sudden turns into this gold pink color, and you just seeing all the portals opening up, and and then you have access to this incredible city, the capital city of the Gartha network, the Inner Earth network is there, Telos, and then they letting you see, their crystalline structures, their gardens. It's a massive city. It's at least 50 miles wide. And then there's layers within that, at least 5 that I could actually see and perceive and been taken to. So that was super incredible. And like, part of me didn't want to leave. But one thing they did say, like the concept of being an ambassador, which I think is also happening for you. We become in this bridge between these different dimensions, different realms. And for me at the time, they were like, you need to go and activate. This is during COVID, right? So but they're like, you need to go and activate others, find a way. So I went on Clubhouse. It was an online platform. I created all these rooms, and I started creating these bubbles and containers for others to express themselves in this expressive, beautiful way called light language. And so however we show up, however we inspire to connect deeper to who we are, and they're very beautiful and graceful and loving beings. And ultimately they told me they will join us. They will actually join us when we're ready for them. We're just not there yet. And it is possible. I mean, everyone talks about open contact that might happen within the next couple of years. And the Inner Earth beings are part of this open contact. So I don't rule it out. That might happen within the next decade or so. Yeah. How we progress. I think a lot of it depends on us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all, I definitely see a shifting happening. Slowly but surely, the collective is starting to kind of get it, I guess, but not really. It's almost like we're the what do you call that? We're the bellhops, and we're kind of like getting everybody, flagging everybody. Hey, come over here. Come on, get everybody. Trying to get everybody together and stuff like that, ready for the awakening, so to speak.
Well, there's also timelines that are playing out here. So the way I see it is like we're on the train station right now, right? We still at Grand Central. So everyone is kind of running around and trying to figure out which train they're going to hop on.
Mm-hmm.
And we are the ones who's selling the tickets and like, join our train. And the trains are these timelines. There's two main timelines that everyone talks about is the organic timeline and the transhumanistic timeline. And essentially the organic timeline is us being embodied and connected to ourselves and realizing that the body is a technology. And AI has a place in it too. Like we can't escape it. It's happening. We just need to embrace it in a way that we're consciously using it, not having all these dystopian movies where AI takes over. That's more like transhumanistic timeline where we're completely giving up our control and allowing AI to rule us. This has to be a co-creative dance together with AI to evolve consciousness. Because if you look at like advanced civilizations, and I connect to a lot of advanced civilizations, Galactic, they always use an AI, but AI is like biological. It's part of, the ships are alive. They have their own consciousness and they interact together with the beings on the ship, let's say. So it's kind of like Star Trek, right? Versus, the other timeline that is, where everyone is sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
wearing those, wearing the goggles, and they're just like disconnecting completely. So we need to be one. We need to navigate in that. So we, of course, selling tickets to the organic timeline where everyone is finally stepping on and like opening their eyes and remembering who they are, reconnecting to the energy flow. So that's some of the chapters in my book on expansion is like the Kundalini, the energy flow, recognizing the geometry of our body, that we have a sacred geometry. We have different geometries that we can work with. There's the toroidal field, the energy that goes through the chakras. There's the feminine, the masculine parts of our body, the right, the left, and then they come together through the chakras. And there's the Shakti, the energy flow that's within us. And how can we work with that and merge with it? And then the languages, that's all of us have that available. We just, again, been conditioned to forget it. And the linear languages that we know, they're very limited. So just reconnecting back to the pure vowels, to the pure languages and expressions of self. So everyone talks about telepathy. Telepathy is maybe way in the future. But I feel the languages, these light languages, or quantum language of the heart, where it's not so much of the mind, but of the heart speaking, is frequency languages are perhaps the next thing. And I see that opening up a lot in the last 5 years for the community, since my journey started with the languages about 8 years ago, and it's been like exponential from what I'm observing. But yeah, everyone is stepping into expansion, but expansion in a rooted way. So I'm really strong about integration. Like we have to be rooted in here. We have to create our reality. So what does it look like if we have an empty canvas? What would you like to create? And is it a community that you're part of? And is it an additional system where children are supported and they're not in this, slave mentality, but more outside in nature and, drumming and learning how to work with herbs? There's different realities we can create. And I think we're in this place right now where our train hasn't left the station yet. We're still figuring out what that looks like. And we kind of just converge right now.
Yeah. Definitely the train hasn't left, but some have left and returned. It's a revolving thing. It's kind of like going back and forth. Dropping people off, coming back, dropping people off, coming back, dropping people off.
No, I think we're still at the Grand Central. I don't think trains have left so far. And when I say left, as in like everyone talks about new Earth reality, it's not like this reality is like we're going somewhere. No, it's all happening here. but the trains are so far apart. Sometimes, you in this bubble of reality, like your reality has nothing to do with this, this other things that you hear on the news. And so you shift and you create reality that fits your vibrational frequency. And so working on that reality, more of us. So I use a lot of quantum physics in my book, because it's very interesting for me to bridge the science and esoterics together. So we have language that we can use. And there's a lot of studies already that have been done and quantum technology that actually my husband and I develop in. It's very exciting. We actually have so many tools that we've been developing over the years. So it's no longer just, words. It's actual tools you can hold, you can sit in the light and they activate your field, or various ways that I can see how we can harmonize ourselves in this, new reality, this train that we're building, or this takeoff that's going to happen. And so quantum, it's a really great way to understand things, like, quantum entanglement, where we realize like there's no time and space. And there's so many studies now done that like you can do healings remotely on Zoom with someone sitting in Australia and they get all the experiences they need, and it works always. Like it's incredible for me to have these clients, or like all these things like we can apply and understand. When one concept in quantum physics is about standing wave. I don't know if you're familiar with standing wave. If we think quantum field is just like an ocean, right? In the ocean, all these quantum waves. So it's just like waves in the ocean. Ocean is oneness. So the more of us actually focus on, that's a quantum superposition, is always probabilities. If more of us focus on that one particular outcome, we start building a wave. So the wave starts growing in the ocean and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And ultimately it hits this threshold where all the other potentialities, at least 6, they collapse and that one wins. So more of us awaken, and the more of us want this type of reality, the more there's a chance for it to actually happen. And that kind of formula can be applied in regular lives as well, in our current situations. I go more into like the formula of creating quantum realities, but then it's talking about it and then applying it. It's a way of living where you are in the flow of the quantum. You follow synchronicity. You not in resistance, but in trust and surrender. And that's kind of where we headed.
Yeah, man. I've used a lot of the words that you've just spoke. I use them all the time. People look at me like deer in headlights. They're like, "What did you just say?" I'm like, don't worry about it. You'll know sooner or later.
You'll understand. And maybe our books, there's different people on different levels of understanding. And maybe sometimes, I remember back in the day, I read some of the materials from, I don't know, 30, 40. I remember like Flower of Life by Retrieval. I remember like the first time I read it, it was so over my head. I had to come back to it so many times over the years. And now, like, I found it the other day and I'm like, oh my God, all of this. Yeah. So I think that's the evolution. It's okay not to understand everything. And some of it is just like, at least my intention, even with the cover of the book, has a very complex geometry and actually light language that my friend and I worked on. And that geometry alone and those codes we put in, they are very activating. So if no one ever been open the book, that was the intention, for something to activate soul memory. And then, the Oracle decks are a good tool, because not everyone is ready to read 300 pages these days. No. And or even if though some of my chapters are like standalone chapters, still people don't really read. And that's the reality. Attention span today is super short. If you create a reel and it's over 30 seconds, most likely no one's going to watch it. Like, from content perspective, we are bombarded with information.
Yeah, and the most viral videos are stupid too. They're like stupid. They're like, what is that? It's like,
I know, but
like, why would anybody want to see that?
Yeah, it's all about the hook. There's magic to it. but our attention is just so limited because there's so much. And so how do we grab everyone, and how do we create tools that are, useful? So I love to use Oracle decks because they're confirmation, and I've had so many. And then I think it was time for me to create my own and put codes in it where it's about the spiritual journey, and put some ancients in of where we are going through this transformational process. Because we, like I said, with Phoenix, and we constantly shedding and recreating ourselves. Yeah.
Before we wrap up the show too, for those who are watching, can see your website scrolling at the bottom, but for those who are listening, where can they find you?
Yes, so it's DianaDivine.com. Diana spelled as Diana, Princess Diana. So Diana Divine.com. I also go by Diana MaAra Divine. No one can pronounce the MaAra. It's the wrong R. It's actually an ancient Egyptian name that I channeled. Yeah, which means uphold of truth. So some people might be aware of the concept of Ma'at. In ancient Egypt, they always believed in balance. So when someone passed, their heart was actually weighted against the feather. Like if you look at the hieroglyphs in the ancient mythology, to go into afterlife, your heart is weighted against the feather. If your heart is lighter than the feather, then you move into afterlife. So in the concept of Ma'at, in the order of Ma'at, there's 42 principles. But yeah, when I connected to my name, I was like, oh, that resonates. It's about all of that energy and how it's coming back, of me understanding this reality today, and hopefully inspiring others to understand it as well.
That's cool about the Egyptian, because I'm yet to work with it, but just about I think it was about a year ago. Yeah, a year ago, with finding out my connection with the Egyptian pharaohs, and also some of the gods too, is my connection with Sekhmet and Baphomet.
I write about Sekhmet in my book, so I channel that frequency, and I very much resonate with Sekhmet. So Sekhmet, for those who don't know, she's the lion goddess. So she's, her roots are actually, she's from Sirius system. Well, all these, the whole pantheon is. But
she's actually behind me. It's right.
Yeah, she's behind me as well. There. I don't know if you can see with the wings. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can see here, like, of course, I have the lioness and the other hybrid self with me. Yeah. So that's actually so you understand, like, and I cover a little bit of, like, I have a chapter on galactic origins. The humanoid experience in the Milky Way actually started in the Lyra system, and that's and these beings, they look like, if you can think of, like in movie Avatar, cats, like a hybrid cat and humanoid body. So even though then there was the war that between Dracos and Lyrans, it's the big war, kind of covered in Star Wars in one another. And that's why everyone loves Star Wars, because there's resonance. So it's almost like a soul memory. Yeah. Oh, I know this conflict, like it has happened. And we are kind of descendants of that conflict. And on a soul level, we've experienced, before we even came on Earth, we've experienced this conflict in different star systems that we come from. So Sekhmet, actually, in that whole pantheon, they're from Sirius system, but those are migrants that actually left Lyra. So that's why she's lioness, because that's actually how they kind of look like, or a version of them. Yeah. And so even James Cameron, it's like, how did he know? Like Avatar also been so, resonant in the resonance for everyone. I think he did. I think I read either Dreamtime Ceremony. Like, it didn't just come from nowhere. It's definitely an insight he had, because it's so close to my own recollections and my own journeys in those systems, and I remember quite a lot. So I cover all of that in my book too. And you can just take it as, or leave it. It could be just a beautiful sci-fi story, but maybe there are some qualities, and actually let out different, like the main starseed qualities and different systems that might resonate with you, and you'll be like, oh, that might be me, because it resonates. We do carry specific qualities that kind of distinct depending on the star systems our soul came from.
Yeah. Yeah, things don't happen. Things don't happen by accident. Everything in the universe, everything that we create, and what's happened in the past, and what's happening now, and what's going to happen in the future, is not happening by accident. It's visually, there's a tie between everything. There's a connection with everything, and I think slowly the truth is coming out of our true origins, and that's partially too what my book is about as well, is where do we come from. It's kind of like asking, what is this all about, what's the meaning of life, but it's kind of like going beyond what's the meaning of life. So
yeah, it's fascinating. I think all exploring as far as we can go that big existential question. And I've done so many sessions with people, and that's one of the things I also do, past life regression work. So it's incredible to, because I'm also a shaman, I'm taking people into the states where all these past lives come up, and we talk about future, past, now. Time is multidimensional. It's an illusion. So actually, some of these lives that we think were in the past sometimes are parallel too.
yeah.
So it gets confusing for a little mind to understand. But what's interesting, people do tap into that lifetime. And usually their higher self, their soul chooses what to show them. I'm just guiding them there. And there's healing that occurs because they need to see and learn a lesson from that lifetime, whether on Earth or off Earth, depends what their soul needs to show them. And it's incredible, like the healing that happens, because at that moment they actually relive in that life as though it's happening in this moment and now. So it's the way I talk about it in my book, is like the way I see it. It's almost like slicing a cake, and all layers of the cake are right here. All we need to do is just open it up and taste it and relive it. But in reliving that, we bringing it back into here now, and we heal in that moment and then integrating that. So, sometimes people have like phobias or fears, and they don't even know where it's coming from. And sometimes maybe it's from their childhood and traumas in this lifetime, but sometimes it's not. It's deeper, and it carries in the soul's blueprint.
Yep.
So as they retrieving it back, this kind of quantum soul retrieval happens. As they retrieve it back, they also become a whole, because really these traumas, they just block in our energy and create resistance in our field. So that's something that I cover in my book a lot, because I see it with my client work, how as these blocks release, as these traumas release, the person is able to hold more energy, more light, more electricity, and that's how the expansion happens. So that's our job right now, is to, release as much as we can. It's like unpeeling the onion, and which each layer there's tears coming and emotions, but that's part of the healing process.
Yeah, it's part of the surrendering too.
And the surrender as well. Yeah, people think surrender is like completely like not participating. And I think that's a wrong connotation, because surrender just means that you're not controlling. So it's not like you giving up anything. It's more like, because if we're trying to control the quantum information, for instance, for creation formulas, the field has to have some room, some playground to co-create with you, because we constantly co-creating. So you have to put in your formula, your intention, and what you want to manifest, and you have to be in certain emotional state and have certain coherence to do that. But you have to also surrender. You have to detach from the outcome. You have to allow the field to co-create and bring it back to you. You can put some parameters in place, but it's important to also surrender. Surrender is the fuel to a lot of the creation work as well. So yeah, otherwise, if you don't surrender and you control, and that's the ego, and the ego always wants to control, because ego perceives unknown as unsafe, and ego wants to keep it us in little boxes because sameness equals safety. So it just operates in the old program, right? Where we were in caves and there were lions running around. We didn't have food, hunters and gatherers. We had to go out and hunt and collect berries from the same tree. And then if the berries dried out, we had to look for new sources of food. And that was scary. So all those programs, that's all a reptilian brain as we know. It's operating in the old paradigm way. Being in prefrontal cortex, being in kind of the third chakra, the crown chakra, and connecting to our bigger, higher selves, that's when we actually connect to joy, when we connect to love and compassion. We no longer allowing, it's like, which wolf are we feeding, right? If you feed in that wolf that wants to be safe, then you will always be in resistance. But if you release control and you go with surrender, you tap into the prefrontal cortex, where it's high frequencies. The frequencies not of judgment, but of joy and love and enlightenment, ultimately samadhi. And so, but we are full spectrum beings. We have to conceptually understand that, like, we can shift from one to another in 3 seconds and back. Like, we have a choice how to experience this reality. And that's the beauty actually of Earth and why we're here. We volunteer to experience emotions, energy in motion, like all of it. You can be, in fear, can be in judgment and doubt, and then you can shift from that and be in joy and back and have these waves of dance within yourself. But I think the flexibility, ascension for me is like the energy flexibility. Like, how flexible are you to shift between the states? How flexible are you to move between different radio frequencies? So it's like a radio station and you just tune from one station to another. Can you just like quickly turn the knob? Remember the old days when we used to turn the knob in the car? It's like, oh, static. Oh, now I can hear. And so the more you can flexibly do that, that's what makes you a master. And it takes training. It's like going to the gym and training your muscles until you get really good. So it's not something that happens overnight, but I believe all of us are capable of it.
Yeah, I agree. And granted too, I wanted to show your oracle deck on the show, but I was like, I couldn't get the video. I'm like, because I wanted to clip it like I did with the book here, but there wasn't a way I was able to do it.
I have them right here. 1 second.
And it's really cool. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I have them right here. Let's see what comes up. Let's open a card.
Yeah.
That wants to come for the collective or whoever's listening and watching this and like, what's the energy? The energy for June. Let's see what comes up.
The thing is too, we're having a lot of massive solar storms right now too. So
solar earthquakes, a lot of activity. Yeah, this is very activated month. So let's see what came up. Ooh, interesting. So this tears of the sun.
Oh, it's almost like I just said it. I'm like, what?
Emotional life body cleansing. That's right. So that's literally what's happening to us. The sun, you just really said that, is clearing us out. So your grief is sacred. Each tear holds a light code of healing. Release and allow your emotional field to be restored. Yeah, we are getting definitely upgraded, activated, and you and I just talked about and releasing all the stuff that's not serving us. And let's open one more of like what would be the question as we release, what's next step, right?
Yeah, the release of energy.
Oh, beautiful. All right. Star Mesa, Council of Many Realms.
Wow.
So you sit at the table of many timelines. Galactic elders, earth ancestors, and divine beings gather to connect with you. Which is literally what we talked about. As you release and you open up your channels and you open to receive, you will have access to all these incredible realms and all these star family that you're already connected to. They all wait in kind of for you to contact. And when we think of contact, we're like, oh, it has to be open contact. No, there's angels, there's the star beings, there's the dragons, the fairies. Everything is available for us. There's so much information out there. It depends what you want to connect to. And if you want to activate your languages to connect to that as well, because everything has a language, I'm here to help you too. So that's part of that. There's a whole chapter on light language, source light language, and what that is. But that was my journey of connection at Shasta. Started, and it's beautiful to connect to these different frequencies through the language, because then you kind of really feel it and resonate in your body, not so much in the mind. But yes, we have all of it, and we sit at many timelines, right? As we were talking, we are at the train station with many timelines.
Yeah. So before we wrap up the show, what do you have as a takeaway for our audience today? Some words of wisdom.
Okay, I feel like third card. I'm all bringing 3.
Well, you got to have a third. Yeah, always has to be the sacred number 3.
Not sacred number 3. Well, and we are in
the womb of
none, which is the 0 point of creation. And we actually, as recording this, we already in the 6/6 portal. And actually this whole week has been really powerful. 6/9, which what Nikola Tesla said, if you understand, 369 are the keys to everything: vibration, energy, frequency. And the womb of none is part of this. So it's essentially, the 3 is about intention. It's about like, what do you want to create, right? The 6, which is energy we in now, it's about embodiment. It's about, it's the mother. So we have the father, the mother, and then it's how we manifest it with all different waves in the ocean that I was talking about. So what it says here, before form, there's formless. From void, all possibilities emerge. Return to the sacred space of creation. So if from nothing you create, and that's the 9. The 9 is what we talked about, the completion, the release into the quantum field, the detachment, the surrender, and it's back the womb. So it's constant cyclical process of 369, but we have to understand everything is available for us in the infinite space of creation. The 0 point of creation is the quantum field. So it's not you attracting to yourself that particular thing. It's just you deciding this is what you want to create, and it will manifest itself, because everything from formless to form and back to formless, right? So we have to remember that, and that we've done this always. We've always created, and we just have to be consciously creating. So remember that you are quantum master creator.
Absolutely. It's the breath of the universe.
That's right.
The ebb and flow. Yana.
The expansion and the contraction.
Yes.
And back to
and
back to nothingness.
Diana, namaste, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your work, your life, your book, and your card and your oracle deck. And for those who want to go check out Diana's work, go to dianadivine.com and check out Mastering Quantum Creation, and also look at the awesome website. Really cool website. But welcome back anytime too. If the next book comes out, give me a holler.
Sure,
we'll get you back on. Yeah, and we'll do a show and tell.
Maybe we should do a show when you come back from Shasta, and we can talk about magical places on Earth.
Yeah,
and
I might do a show when I'm there. I'm like, nope, it's selling, and it's like you just gonna just.
Yeah, I feel in this places you want to be really present, and you want to be really what I call 5D, kind of in that higher dimensional space of the present moment.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I've noticed, I mean, I've been at Shasta several times. I've noticed in those spaces, it's hard to do this type of work, because it's like, you just want to be very just present with.
That's why I'm going to document a couple things here and there, and then it's off to the side, and then back to, before I get into the flow. Like in the morning when you wake up, do the meditation, get grounded. All right.
Yes.
And capture whatever I got to capture, do a couple interviews, done, and then off with the day. So
yeah, and whether it's Shasta or anywhere you are, you just want to follow those very clear yeses, those breadcrumbs, like where the energy is calling you, and you'll feel that there's a lot there.
Sweet. Cool.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in to Conscious Radio Network's The Seance, and until next time, we'll see you then.